Sunlight streams through the canopy, casting dappled shadows on the forest floor where the Forest King and his wife live in harmony with nature. Their dwelling, crafted from natural materials, blends seamlessly into the ancient forest. The tranquility of the forest is broken as the hunter steps in, disrupting the ancient peace with his predatory gaze. He moves forward, rifle at the ready, unaware of the ancient eyes observing his every move. Warm light spills from the Forest King's dwelling, but a heavy tension fills the air. The Forest King's voice echoes with concern. I feel a darkness encroaching, the hunter's presence. It threatens us all. His wife stands tall, her voice resonating with resolve. I will protect you, my king, and this forest. I am ready to face whatever comes. In the sun-drenched forest clearing, the metallic gleam of the hunter's rifle pierces the tranquil scene. The Forest King stands resolute, his voice resonating with the ancient wisdom of the woods. The wife explodes with protective fury, throwing herself between the hunter and the Forest King, her eyes blazing. The silence shatters as a deafening shot echoes through the trees. The wife collapses onto the forest floor, her dress stained with a growing crimson bloom. A surge of mystical energy envelops her, intertwining her form with the forest's ancient power. Her eyes flicker with an otherworldly fire as the transformation completes, binding her to the ancient woods. The hunter watches, paralyzed by a mixture of terror and reverence, as nature claims its own. Years pass. The ancient forest flourishes under the loving watch of the wife's spirit. The hunter vanishes into oblivion, and the forest reverts to a haven of tranquility and balance. The wife's essence permeates the forest, its continued health and vitality ensured. At the forest's edge, the Forest King watches as dawn's first light kisses the ancient trees. Clad in earthy attire, he embodies the serene majesty of the awakening wilderness. Though weary, his eyes reflect a profound bond with the land. The Forest King steps into the colossal tree, his sanctuary where sunlight paints stories on ancient walls. Sunlight casts shadows across carvings that whisper tales of the forest's past. His touch is a silent vow to protect the forest's legacy. The Forest King surveys his kingdom, his presence a silent promise of care. Concern etches across his face as he finds a withered sapling, a stark reminder of nature's fragility. He whispers words of encouragement, showing his dedication to nurturing his kingdom. Sunlight bathes the ancient forest, revealing the Forest King standing tall on a moss-covered rock. His benevolent gaze sweeps across his kingdom, projecting wisdom and peace. Nearby, Professor Sophocles, the wise old owl, perches on a branch, observing the forest with keen eyes. Sunlight streams into the royal chamber within the king's massive tree, casting dappled shadows as the Forest King grapples with weighty concerns. I fear a growing imbalance in our forest ecosystem. The signs are subtle, yet undeniable, the Forest King declares, his voice heavy with apprehension. Professor Sophocles, a figure of wisdom and patience, strokes his beard thoughtfully as he listens intently to the king's anxieties. Informed decision-making is paramount, Your Majesty. We must proceed with caution and consider all potential consequences, Professor Sophocles advises, his tone measured and grave. The Forest King and Professor Sophocles arrive at a scene of devastation in a ravaged section of the forest. The king's face reflects deep distress, his eyes scanning the destruction around him. Professor Sophocles remains calm, his gaze thoughtful as he assesses the damage and formulates a plan. King Alaric, weary, stands at the forest's edge, his travel-stained robes a stark contrast to his former glory. He casts one last glance at the path behind him, a path now abandoned. With heavy steps, King Alaric enters the forest, leaving behind the clamor of his kingdom for the rustling whispers of the trees. Alaric stumbles wearily into a forest clearing, his arrival observed by Athena, Mika, and Boris. Athena, the old owl, regards Alaric with cautious curiosity. Mika, the playful monkey, watches Alaric with mischievous eyes. Boris, the strong bear, observes Alaric with a welcoming demeanor. Athena welcomes Alaric. Welcome, traveler. What brings you to our humble abode? Deep in the forest, Alaric learns valuable lessons from its inhabitants, gradually shedding his royal arrogance. Mika reveals the power of cooperation as they gather food together, teaching Alaric the strength of unity. Boris demonstrates the strength found in unity as they move a large log, reinforcing the importance of working together. Athena imparts her wisdom, teaching Alaric the importance of understanding different perspectives. Alaric begins to understand that his kingdom needs the same unity and cooperation he has witnessed in the forest. At the forest's edge, Alaric stands, transformed and ready to return to his kingdom. He prepares to leave, his gaze sweeping over the familiar trees one last time, carrying not just the memory of the forest, but a vision for a better kingdom. Alaric says, "Farewell, Athena, Mika, and Boris. I promise I will remember your lessons." Athena replies, "The forest will always be here to guide you, Alaric. Remember what you have learned."